Do prepositions confuse you? Do you use in, on, or at? How do you know which one to use? It's actually pretty simple. Let me show you. Hello everyone and welcome to my class. My name is Victor. Thanks for tuning in. Prepositions can be very confusing for a lot of English learners. And it doesn't help that there's over 150 of them to choose from. So how do you know which one to use? In this video lesson, I will show you when to use the prepositions in, on, and at when you're expressing place and time. Let's get started. So, this basically shows you how to use in, on, and at as prepositions of place and time. Let me explain. All you have to do is look at this picture and remember that you're going from general to specific. As you can see, the area for in is a lot larger, and then the lower you go, the smaller the space is. That basically means you're going from general to specific. Let's look at some examples. You use in for preposition of place, particularly for countries, cities and suburbs, and some enclosed spaces. Here's some examples. In America, in Australia, in Africa. You can also use in for cities and suburbs. In New York, in Brisbane. You can also use in for some enclosed spaces. In a car, in the lift, in my room, in an office. All of these are enclosed spaces. That's when you use in. Now, for on, you're looking at a less general space. And you normally use on when you've got street names, or avenues, or building floors or levels, and some transport. Here are some examples. On Edward Street, on Albert Street, on Fifth Avenue. You can also have on the bus, on the train, on a plane. These are transport. Or levels of a building. On the third floor, on the top floor, on level 5. All of these places, you use on. Now for at. With at, you're looking at even more specific place. So normally when you've got actual specific address with the number and the street name, you use at. You also use at if you're talking about the actual name of a place or location. Here are some examples. At 55 George Street. At 42 Main Street. All of these are very specific addresses. Or you can have the specific name of a place. For example, at Starbucks. At McDonald's. You use at because it's very specific. Simple, isn't it? Now, let's look at prepositions when you talk about time. It's the same idea. When you're looking at something general, you use in. The more specific you get, then you move downwards from in to on to at. Here's some examples. For in, you normally use this with longer periods of time. For example, years, months, seasons. In 1993, in spring, in May. All of these use the word in because they are longer periods of time. You can even use in for even longer periods, such as in the Jurassic period, in the Triassic period. Now for on, you're looking at less general. Normally with on, you've got the actual day or the actual date. For example, on Tuesday, on Friday, on Sunday, on December 25, on February 14, on September 9. All of these are specific days, specific dates. You can also use on for calendar public holidays. For example, on Valentine's Day, on New Year's Day, on Christmas Day. If it's a public holiday with the word day, you use the word on. Simple, isn't it? Let's look at this time. At is very specific. So you use at if you've got actual clock time or specific times in the day when the time is obvious. Let me show you some examples. At 9 o'clock. At 1 o'clock. Now, noon is always 12 p.m. So you can say at noon because it's always 12 p.m. Similarly with midnight. You can say at midnight because it's always 12 a.m. You can even use at lunchtime because you have a specific lunchtime where you eat lunch. It's important to remember that this picture is only a guide. It doesn't apply to all of the things that you can use in, on, or at because there are some collocations, some expressions, even some idioms that don't follow this picture. For example, American English, they say on the weekend. But UK English, they say at the weekend. It doesn't really follow this diagram. And a lot of expressions are just not applicable here. For example, a lot of people can say at night, but they say in the morning. So what's the best way to learn these? Is just keep using it. When you hear something, you keep using it and don't be afraid to make mistakes because mistakes are the best way for you to learn. And quiz time. I'd like you to complete these gaps with in, on, or at. Feel free to pause the video while you answer these questions. And let's check. On George Street, in New York, on level 15, at 5 Baker Street, in Australia. On Wednesday, at sunset, on September 27, in 1990, in spring. How many did you get correctly? And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something today. Please, if you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more video lessons. I'll see you next time.